I'm Lee Craigie.
And I'm Jenny Graham.
And over the next 5 days, we're taking you on a slow trip from source to sea along the River Tay.
Before we get onto our bikes and into our packrafts, we're getting on a train.
Ellenborough Upper, Gaelic Head, Arifer and Tarbet, Dart Louis, Crean Larry, Tyndrum Lower.
ScotRail have a brand new Highland Explorer carriage with space for 20 bikes. A fantastic way of accessing natural spaces from our built-up areas without needing a car. Just walking up and down the train, asking where everybody's going on their holiday to. It's really nice. Just feels like a big holiday vibe. It's a little bit of being on a flight to Costa del Sol, but without the carbon footprint. Just going to get some audio, day one, of Jenny slurping from the source. Go again, Jen.
I think water from the source tastes better than midstream.
Okay, we should have a taste comparison.
Yeah.
This does look lovely, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
Oh, clear.
I think it might be the way it's dripping down the grass and then just hitting on the stone. It's like visually pleasing.
It definitely tastes better than out the tap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it tastes better than the warm, day-old water that I've been drinking all day on the way up here. That's good. Hey, we've made it to the source of the River Tay.
Well, a source. We're still not convinced that this is the source. I wonder if you can ever actually be convinced that you're at the actual the source.
The source.
Are we at the source?
I could never quite be sure we're at the source. No, you're right, actually, and it's a really good point, because I think we are quite clear that this is definitely not the pure source.
Not the highest source.
Definitely not. That should have been up like miles away.
But we have just pushed our bikes through 4 kilometres of bog to get to this point. We got into the train station about 4 hours ago.
Yeah.
Is that fair to say?
Yes.
And we've been pushing up this glen ever since, and pretty much as soon as we left the train station, the clag was down. So it's been a very atmospheric morning.
How are you actually feeling to be at the source?
So we were both just talking about how we're struggling to find the joy. Like, normally this sort of stuff should be so full of excitement and joy and being, up for the challenge, and I am not feeling that just now, and it's really interesting to hear that you're not feeling it either. I wonder if it is to do with COVID, and it is to do with, like, the last 18 months have been so starved of joy that we've almost forgotten how to feel it.
It's like you can do joyful activities and you can put yourself in situations that should be fun or will be fun, and with people that you want to be with, but it's like things have been dampened slightly, hasn't it?
Yeah.
And I've definitely felt it, and I know that we're both carrying a lot, like in our, we've both just moved house and stuff, and you definitely arrive on some of these trips with a bit of baggage that, from real life sort of thing. And I mean, I've taken, 12 hours to get here this morning. I had to get up at 4 o'clock, so that might have something to do with it, but I've definitely noticed it before today. Yeah.
And I think that is reflected in the day. Like, just saying the colour has been soaked out of this day. It is so clagged in, isn't it? And just, it's a little bit oppressive up here, isn't it?
Yeah.
I wondered if now that we've been able to say how it is that we're both feeling at the start, maybe as we drop down and the weather clears, we'll be able to let go of some of that stuff. So we are over the moon to once again be accompanied on this journey by a brand new piece of music written by our good friend Julie Fowlis. Julie's ability to bring the natural world alive through her song and her poetry is just second to none. Oh, River Are you up for this too? Tell us about your experience with the river. Do you enjoy jumping in cold water?
Yeah, I love it. I really like being
How
in
does
the
it
cold
make you
water.
feel?
It makes me feel happy most of the time.
Yeah?
I enjoy it quite a lot.
We're Lee and Jenny, cycling and paddling along the River Tay from source to sea, carrying our packrafts and tents on our bikes.
Because we're keen to discover what moving our bodies through nature can actually bring to people's lives. Day 2, and this is Lee, and we're at Finlarig Castle just outside Killin. We've just woken up and we've pedalled along an old disused railway and spotted this castle ruin on the map, so we've ducked off. And this place is so cool. It's falling down and it's got all sorts of new growth happening out of the top of its walls. So I'm standing by the graves of Sir Gavin Campbell and his wife, Lady Alma Graham, born on the 5th of September 1854 and died in the 1930s. And I'm just reflecting on how different a life this pair must have had to the folk that were up and down from the Sheelings high at the watershed yesterday, tending cattle and just scraping a living. And there's these really grand gravestones with Celtic crosses carved out of marble that represent this pair's life. And I'm just thinking about the disparity that exists between sections of society then, back then, and still now.
This is Jenny calling in mid-afternoon on day 2, source to sea on the River Tay, and we have just got onto the river, which is lovely. I feel like I've been needing this for a little while. It's warm. It's actually been on the river and getting splashed with water coming off the paddle. I see a Lee Craigie.
Is that a Jenny Graham?
This is a Jenny Graham.
Hi, Jenny Graham.
Hi.
How's it going?
It's going good. But it's really nice looking at, we're both sitting in our red packrafts, or inflatable dinghy boats that we've been carrying about, and we've both got our bikes strapped to the front of them, but in different ways.
Yeah, you've not taken your rear wheel off.
No, I've not. I've just taken my front wheel off and left my rear wheel on.
Although it's slack, we're actually moving quite quickly. I've just stopped paddling altogether, and we're not in any rush again. We are meeting some kids from a local school just downriver a little bit, but we've, for a change, this is not like us at all, but we've just bought ourselves loads of time so that we can enjoy it and not have to be rushing places. Gently floating down a river, creating your own wee breeze with the sun drying out my shoes. I am so content right now. And here we are in Aberfeldy. Oh, we've just had a great welcome to this wee market town. There was even home baking on the green. Loads of really interesting people live here, lots of inspiring people all into the outdoors and being active, including Johnny, who's working really hard to make Aberfeldy the healthiest town in Scotland.
One of the companies that I work for is Wild Fitness, and when you're at school you learn about homeostasis, which is about your body trying to find balance. And the thing is, we've kind of domesticated ourselves and we've given ourselves not homeostasis but homostasis, like everything's the same. We don't feel cold, we don't feel heat, and then a lot of the stress that we carry, it activates ancient triggers that are flight or fright responses for fighting another man or fighting off a saber-toothed tiger. So we're just trying to teach people that if you throw yourself in cold rivers and you go out on adventures and experience a little bit of hardship, I guess, it makes you that little bit more resilient, and also it resets your body and it reminds it that bills and things like that are not that important. There's the real things in life.
And then there's Callum, a Gaelic speaker who's passionate about keeping the language alive.
Gaelic is a language for the whole of Scotland, so it's like no matter who you are in Scotland, I think you should feel that it's something you can go and use, or you can access.
That would be lovely, wouldn't it? Because I'm native Scottish, but I'm not a Gaelic speaker, and I've not got a huge connection to the language, but I'd love to. And I don't know why I assume it's for other people, because I was brought up in a town in a family that don't speak it, I suppose. I've always been a bit envious of the West Coasters that have got that sort of heritage. But you're right, it's for all of us, isn't it?
I think so, yeah. I think it's something that belongs to Scotland as a whole.
This is Source to Sea on the River Tay, and as we paddle and cycle, we're meeting people who have managed to overcome their fears and connect with nature.
Good morning. This is Jenny calling in from Aberfeldy, and I am sitting on the river right now. It's day 3 of Source to Sea, and I'm just hanging on one of these ropes that has been tied up onto a tree, and it's got lots and lots of knots in it.
I've been looking at these trees for the last 2 days and just seeing their colours turning, and with it I'm getting this little lift. I love autumn, it's my favourite time of year. There's a melancholy to it, but there's also a hope, like things are changing, things are moving, and it sort of feels a little bit like that, like there's a shift in the air, there's a shift in the trees, there's a shift in my mood. It feels like a really lovely morning to be alive.
So yesterday it was very apparent, you know, there was this kid called Tay and his dad called Johnny, who we spent quite a lot of time with yesterday and were key people for us when we were coming into Aberfeldy. And that pair just had this incredible climbing skills. The wee boy Tay was about 10 years old, and he was like climbing over my head basically, he was lapping me. He lapped me like 3 times. And his dad, he was just leaping from the big one, and it was lovely seeing their relationship actually. I mean, how rare is that this 10-year-old boy was allowed so freely to be a child and to climb trees and to jump in the river, and for his dad to be doing it alongside him and his dad to be offering him a helping hand.
Okay, this is Lee and it's day 3, about 11 o'clock in the morning. And I am standing touching what is believed to be the oldest living thing in Europe, possibly the world. Isn't that mad? My hand is on something that's been alive for more than 5,000 years. The Fortingall yew tree. And I'm looking at this thing and I'm thinking, what have you seen? You have seen pretty much all of humanity growing and changing and evolving and progressing, whatever that means. There's something about this tree that brings us back to the important stuff, that roots us back in the fundamentals, like why it is that we're on this journey, why it is that we're doing this stuff. And it's about this connection to other living things. Yeah, you know, that our living environment that we're passing through, but also the people that we're connecting with. And did you know, you probably already do, but in case you don't, the Gaelic alphabet is represented in trees. And so when you consider our history as Scots, how important trees used to be to everybody, you know, that was how we built our language. We built our language around trees. And now, you know, many of us can go days without even acknowledging one. If you go to the wood of the yew trees, my own tree you will discover. The tree with the sweetest, softest produce, branching tree of pears and apples. O tree of apples, branch of apples, O tree of apples. We've got lots of school kids who we've encouraged to walk or cycle or scoot to school, and then their miles are matching our miles as we go. Because
that's good.
Yeah, I think
There has been an improvement.
Tell us.
Oh yeah, around here, that since the COVID, we are seeing far more people walking, and children out doing stuff.
That's great.
Definitely. And my friend here, Sheena, had been actually recently widowed.
Oh.
Before the COVID. And so we started walking. We do 4-mile walk every morning.
Oh wow.
We've done it every single solitary day since the 23rd of March 2019.
No way.
So we're on 2,000, I couldn't tell you the exact, 2,100 and something.
Incredible.
Yeah.
No matter what the weather.
No matter, we had to change when it was flooded.
Okay, yep.
I went to go up the hill.
But you still did your 4 miles?
Oh yeah. Listen, we do more than 4 most days.
Do you? I've been getting a hard time on this trip for drinking instant coffee. But who doesn't drink instant coffee on a camping trip? It's like camping coffee. It's not like I do at home. Give me a break.
We're Lee and Jenny, travelling from the source to the sea along the River Tay, and joined last night by 9 teenage girls from Morrison Academy. They camped out, rode their bikes and enjoyed this adventure with us.
So it's about 7 o'clock on day 4, and I've just paddled out into the middle of Loch Ordie to drink my coffee and watch the sun popping up over the horizon. And what a lovely special moment to be sharing with absolutely nobody. Feels a bit mean actually. All the kids are still on the shores, and many of them are just starting to wake up. So it looks like they might be starting to get ready for breakfast. I probably shouldn't be too long, but I just wanted to take a moment because this was just too special to miss. There's not a breath of wind and it's warm. I'm in my shorts at 7 o'clock in the morning, sitting on this mist-shrouded loch in the middle of the Persia Hills.
Good morning, it's Jenny checking in on day 4 of Source to Sea. There's great excitement in the camp this morning as the girls are all deciding what way we're going to leave and get back down to the car park. So there's quite a lot of options here.
I thought we were going that way.
No, I'm going that way, Emma.
So which way's that way?
Emma, you have the map. So the map's more like that. So because Dunkel's that way. So if you're kind of looking at it like that.
So which way is the loch we're going
Because
round?
the house is there.
We're here.
This way.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Round the loch.
Just a bit of
And then down that way.
Yeah, I thought we were going round that way. That's the double track. Why don't we just go that way?
How about we do.
Let's go that way. Full stop. Let's go.
We chose to do this expedition with these girls from Morrison's Academy because the deputy head got in touch and he said, we're noticing something. As the kids are coming back after COVID, there's some real levels of depression and anxiety and just general worry, like heightened concern. And so the staff team had a bit of a get-together to discuss, well, what helps us when we're feeling like that? And they all came up with the same thing. They all said, well, it's getting outside, it's being outside, connected to green spaces, noticing the detail in the little things. That's the stuff that chills us out. And so here we are, on the banks of Loch Ordie in Perthshire, having spent a lovely night of cooking all together, and then we walked up a little hill to watch the sunset, and they all burst into song at the top of the crag at the top of this hill. Makes me think that probably their deputy head had a point when he got in touch.
Day 4. It's the evening.
It is, and we're very much on the banks of the Tay.
We are.
We're about 5k from Perth.
Yeah, if that. It's going to be quite different from last night up in the hillside, eh?
Yeah, last night was absolutely gorgeous, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. How do you feel about coming into Perth?
Truthfully, okay. Getting a hotel. Can't wait to wash.
Fine.
I mean, that's okay as well.
That is absolutely fine as well. It is the end of day 4.
It is the end of day 4, and I am a little bit disgusting. How are you feeling about going in?
Yeah, I'm all right about it too, actually. I sort of feel like I'm ready for a bit of a stopping. It was so lovely hanging out with the girls last night and just got so much out of sharing that experience with them. But it's quite hard work, isn't it, being high energy with other people, and now I'm quite looking forward to just a little bit of quiet time, I think.
So we're in for a banging night in Perth.
Aye.
Aye, nah, it was nice. It was actually a really nice break in the week, having that surge of energy of teenage girls. They bring something very different to the dynamic.
Yeah, their chat was brilliant, wasn't it? What a lovely bunch.
Yeah, for sure.
Which way is the easier way, Erskine?
Probably that way.
Right, let's go that way. Erskine smart.
Fine, okay.
Yeah, the terrain will be better that way, but like not by much, isn't
Do you guys want your fluffy microphone?
Oh, thank you very much. I do.
Thank you.
It is the final day of Source of Sea on the River Tay, and I am standing with one foot completely encased in mud, right on, like almost in the River Tay, and there's 3 or 4 boats, like sailing boats, moored on the river. So that sort of reminds us just how close to the sea we are here. Like, people have sailed upriver on a incoming tide to moor their boats actually on the river. That's how close to open water we are. And it really does feel so different here, you know, rolling agricultural hills all around, and you can hear the drone of the main road between Perth and Dundee just in the background. It's incredible how quickly landscape can change.
A slow journey along the River Tay on bikes and packrafts, with us, Jenny Graham and Lee Craigie.
A big reason for doing these trips is because we love the outdoors. And because we love the outdoors, we want to travel through them in sustainable ways. We don't want to do harm, and we want to make sure that these beautiful places are here for generations to come. And today, as we head into Dundee, we're really looking forward to connecting with the Dundee Bike Hub. Getting places by bike should not be the privilege of someone that can afford a bike or that happens to live in a leafy suburb. We should all be able to access that mode of transport. We should all be able to access the joy that comes with travelling actively and sustainably.
I've just been shown a picture of just the kids' bikes, and it is just lines and lines and lines and lines that go so far back I can't even see. Oh my goodness, how big is this warehouse?
It's about
3 times the size of this room.
Wow.
Maybe more. I'd say more like 10 times the size of this room. Let's get a bit of dramatic effect.
Yeah, let's go. We're talking like aeroplane hangar.
It's phenomenal. And our guys will go every once a week to go to every single site in Angus, just Angus.
Yeah.
And we'll pick up as many bikes as we can, and we'll process them all. We're going to take off the brakes off that one, we're going to take the wheel off that one, everything, nothing gets wasted. We have some people that use the inner tubes, they put them in the washing machine, and then they weave them into wallets. Everything gets used.
Wow.
It's phenomenal. Around 60,000 bikes in the time that we've been doing this is a lot of bikes. And what is it, like 66 bikes to a tonne? So I'll let someone else do that maths, but that is a lot of metal we prevented going to landfill, because people just buy bikes and they get broken and they throw them out.
Yeah.
And we're that link. We're like, no, they've got much more life in them yet.
So you're not only doing a bit for the community, like the environmental impact on
that's
this is
the massive
huge.
thing here as well. We have some new bikes just around the side we've got built up. And I think you've ever seen a new bike. We'll have a look at one.
Come see, yeah.
We've got a brand new... No, I'm not going to tell the brand of the bike.
Okay.
But when you open up a box...
Okay, so we've got a big bike box in front of us here. Oh, yeah?
Look at all the cable ties, look at all the plastic.
Yeah.
Everything.
Yeah.
Everything. And the amount of miles that's had to travel from wherever it was made all the way here. And we need to kind of offset that CO2. So you're much better off buying a second-hand bike if you care about the environment at all.
Yeah, a second-hand bike that's been built in the town that you live in.
You provided someone with training, someone with a job, and all that money gets put back into the community as well.
Well, it feels like we've come a long way, and I don't mean physically, practically. Really, by our standards, it's not a very long way, the source of the Tay to here in Dundee. But I feel like we've come a long way emotionally, like neither of us were really up for this trip. We had so much going on in our lives, and we both admitted to not really feeling that usual joy that we feel from going on an adventure. Like our joy senses have been dulled in some way due to being restricted maybe for this past year, I don't know. I am really looking forward to our third and final trip from the source of the River Clyde down into Glasgow, because we're going to land in Glasgow right at the end of the International COP Summit. All of the global leaders are going to have been there talking for 2 weeks about all the huge innovative changes that we can make to our industry in order to avert our climate crisis. And we're going to spend the week hopefully sharing a bit of a different message, that maybe what we don't need to do is more, maybe what we need to do is less.
Source to Sea is a Tandem Production in association with the Adventure Syndicate. The music was specially written for us by Julie Fowlis, and we're grateful to the Audio Content Fund for their support.
Oh